Section 4b. The Buddhist attitude of mind continued. Is Buddhism religion or philosophy? The question has often been asked, is Buddhism a religion or a philosophy? It does not matter what you call it. Buddhism remains what it is, whatever label you may put on it. The label is immaterial. Even the label Buddhism, which we give to the teaching of the Buddha, is of little importance. The name one gives it is inessential. What's in a name? That which we call a rose, by any other name, would smell as sweet. In the same way, truth needs no label. It is neither Buddhist, Christian, Hindu, nor Muslim. It is not the monopoly of anybody. Sectarian labels are hindrances to the independent understanding of truth, and they produce harmful prejudices in men's mind. This is true, not only in intellectual and spiritual matters, but also in human relations. When, for instance, we meet a man, we do not look on him as a human being, but we put a label on him such as English, French, German, American, or Jew, and regard him with all the prejudices associated with that label in our mind. Yet he may be completely free from those attributes which we have put on him. People are so fond of discriminative labels that they even go to the length of putting them on human qualities and emotions common to all. So they talk of different brands of charity, as for example, a Buddhist charity or Christian charity, and look down upon other brands of charity. But charity cannot be sectarian. It is neither Christian, Buddhist, Hindu, nor Muslim. The love of a mother for her child is neither Buddhist nor Christian. It is mother love. Human qualities and emotions like love, charity, compassion, tolerance, patience, friendship, desire, hatred, ill will, ignorance, conceit, etc. need no sectarian labels. They belong to no particular religions. To the seeker after truth, it is immaterial from where an idea comes. The source and development of an idea is a matter for the academic. In fact, in order to understand truth, it is not necessary even to know whether the teaching comes from the Buddha or from anyone else. What is essential is seeing the thing, understanding it. There is an important story in the Majjhima Nikaya which illustrates this. The Buddha once spent a night in a potter's shed. In the same shed, there was a young recluse who had arrived there earlier. They did not know each other. The Buddha observed the recluse and thought to himself, "Pleasant are the ways of this young man. It would be good if I should ask about him." So the Buddha asked him, "O bhikkhu, in whose name have you left home? Or who is your master? Or whose doctrine do you like?" "O friend," answered the young man, "there is a recluse Gotama, a Sakyan Sikhin who left the Sakya family to become a recluse. There is high repute abroad of him that he is an arahant, a full enlightened one. In the name of that blessed one, I have become a recluse. He is my master, and I like his doctrine." Where does that blessed one, the arahant, the fully enlightened one, live at the present time? In the countries to the north, friend. There is a city called Savatthi. It is there that the blessed one, the arahant, the fully enlightened one, is now living. Have you ever seen him, that blessed one? Would you recognize him if you ever saw him? I have never seen that blessed one, nor should I recognize him if I saw him. The Buddha realized that it was in his name that this unknown young man had left home and become a recluse. But without divulging his own identity, he said, "O bhikkhu, I will teach you the doctrine. Listen and pay attention. I will speak." "Very well, friend," said the young man in assent. Then the Buddha delivered to this young man a most remarkable discourse explaining truth. It was only at the end of the discourse that this young recluse, whose name was Bhukkusati, realized that the person who spoke to him was the Buddha himself. So he got up, went before the Buddha, bowed down at the feet of the master, and apologized to him for calling him friend unknowingly. Then he begged the Buddha to ordain him and admit him into the order of the Sangha. The Buddha asked him whether he had the alms bowl and the robes ready. A bhikkhu must have 3 robes and an alms bowl for begging food. When Bhukkusati replied in the negative, the Buddha said that the Tathagatas would not ordain a person unless the alms bowl and the robes were ready. So Bhukkusati went out in search of an alms bowl and robes, but was unfortunately savaged by a cow and died. Later, when this sad news reached the Buddha, he announced that Bhukkusati was a wise man who had already seen the truth and attained the penultimate stage in the realization of nirvana, and that he was born in a realm where he would become an arahant and finally pass away, never to return to this world again. From this story, it is quite clear that when Bhukkusati listened to the Buddha and understood his teaching, he did not know who was speaking to him or whose teaching it was. He saw truth. If the medicine is good, the disease will be cured. It is not necessary to know who prepared it or where it came from.